Welcome back to our channel. Today we take a deep dive into the fascinating life of Roy Rogers, a true American icon and the king of the Cowboys. Known for his heroic roles, charming personality, and undeniable influence on Western cinema, Roy Rogers captured the hearts of millions. But behind the cowboy image and his larger-than-life on-screen persona, there was a man whose life was filled with triumphs, struggles, and heartbreaking tragedies. From his humble beginnings in Ohio to becoming Hollywood's top cowboy star, and from his cherished career achievements to the devastating personal losses he faced, Roy Rogers' life story is as captivating as any film. Join us as we uncover the secrets of his rise to fame, his family life, and the tragic end that shook his world. Roy Rogers, originally named Leonard Franklin Sly, was born in 1911 in Cincinnati, Ohio, into a family that could best be described as both adventurous and resilient. His early life was a journey of contrasts, caught between the simplicity of farm life and the allure and challenges of urban living. When Leonard was just 1 year old, his family embarked on an ambitious voyage up the Ohio River on a homemade houseboat, an act of both necessity and ingenuity that speaks volumes about their resourcefulness. Eventually, they settled on a modest farm in Duck Run, Ohio, where his father, Andrew Sly, took up work in a shoe factory in nearby Portsmouth. However, Andrew's job often kept him away from home for weeks at a time, leaving the family to navigate the hardships of rural life, largely on their own. But life in Duck Run wasn't all struggle. It was also the backdrop for Leonard's early exposure to music and community. In this tight-knit rural setting, music was more than just a pastime. It was a way of life. Leonard's parents and siblings were musically inclined, and their home was often filled with melodies that echoed through the hills. Leonard quickly absorbed this environment, mastering the guitar and mandolin, singing in the church choir, and even calling square dances at local gatherings. These early experiences sparked Roy's lifelong passion for performance, even if young Leonard didn't yet know it. Interestingly, his love for horses, something that would later define his cowboy persona, didn't develop during his rural upbringing. Although he learned to handle horses on the farm, it wasn't until he moved to Hollywood that he truly honed his riding skills and developed the deep bond with horses that would become a hallmark of his career. This delayed passion adds a fascinating twist to his story, showing how life's unexpected turns can shape even the most iconic aspects of a person's identity. As Leonard transitioned to Hollywood and took on the persona of Roy Rogers, his rise to fame was fueled not only by his natural talents, but also by the authenticity and values he embodied. His love for the American West, combined with his early experiences, resonated deeply with fans. As he embraced his newfound identity as the king of the Cowboys, it was clear that Roy Rogers wasn't just a fictional character on screen. He was a symbol of hope, strength, and perseverance for audiences across the world. Roy Rogers' family wasn't just a household. It was a sanctuary of music and creativity, a place where the rhythm of life echoed in every corner. Music wasn't just a hobby or pastime for the Rogers family. It was a way of life, an inheritance passed down through the generations. Roy's parents, as well as his 3 sisters, all shared a profound love for music, creating a home where tunes flowed as naturally as conversation. The very essence of their family dynamic was built on melodies, with the impromptu performances regularly filling the air. In fact, Roy's father, Andrew, had been a performer himself, captivating audiences aboard a river steamer in his youth, before his voice changed, redirecting his path toward family life. This musical environment formed the backbone of Roy's future success, grounding him in a world where creativity and harmony were not just appreciated but revered. For Roy, growing up in such an environment meant that music was not just an interest, it was his lifeblood. The love for melody, rhythm, and performance became so ingrained in his daily life that it was impossible for him to ignore it. From an early age, Roy participated in family gatherings where music was the star. Guitars, mandolins, and harmonious voices filled the air as his family would transform ordinary moments into impromptu concerts. These experiences didn't just foster his musical talents, they connected him deeply to the idea of performance and storytelling, setting him up to become a skilled musician and entertainer long before he ever set foot in Hollywood. His family didn't just nurture his talent, they laid the foundation for a future where Roy would shine on stage and screen. Yet, the bond Roy shared with his family went beyond music. It was the steady, unwavering support that sustained him through life's challenges. This familial closeness became his anchor. It was through their love, encouragement, and shared values that Roy developed a sense of belonging, something that would stay with him throughout his career. This bond also reinforced his sense of purpose and determination, guiding him as he navigated the ever-changing tides of fame. The environment his family created, one of support, music, and shared joy, became the bedrock upon which his future was built. In 1936, Roy's life took a pivotal turn, one that would forever alter his destiny. It was during this time that he met and married Arlene Wilkins, a woman whose love and support would become the cornerstone of his personal and professional life. Their meeting was as serendipitous as it was charming, an exchange of music for a homemade pie. But what started as a chance encounter quickly blossomed into a love story that would define Roy's journey. At the time, Roy was still an aspiring artist, struggling to find his footing in the entertainment world. But with Arlene by his side, he found not only the happiness that had eluded him, but also the motivation and drive to take his dreams to new heights. Arlene's unwavering belief in him gave Roy the confidence to take risks and pursue his passions with renewed vigor. This period marked a crucial turning point in Roy's life and career. With Arlene's constant support, Roy's aspirations began to take flight. His marriage didn't just give him emotional fulfillment, it provided the stability and encouragement he needed to break into the entertainment world. His musical background, combined with Arlene's support, pushed Roy to pursue the path of stardom with even more determination. It was this blend of family, love, and passion for music that propelled Roy Rogers from a hopeful young man to the legendary figure the world would come to know and love. Roy Rogers' path to stardom is the stuff of legends, full of perseverance, undeniable talent, and a touch of destiny. In the 1930s, when Roy first entered the entertainment world, it was as a musician. He joined the Sons of the Pioneers, a Western music group that would go on to redefine the genre. Roy's smooth voice and impressive guitar skills quickly made him the heart of the band. The group's songs, rich with vivid imagery and heartfelt storytelling, resonated deeply with audiences and solidified the Sons of the Pioneers as pioneers of Western music. But Roy's journey was not without its struggles. The band faced financial hardships, and their demanding schedules left Roy at a crossroads, questioning what the future held. But sometimes, fate steps in at the most unexpected times. When Gene Autry, the reigning cowboy star at Republic Pictures, had a contract dispute, it opened the door for a new leading man. Roy didn't hesitate. He auditioned for the role that would change the trajectory of his life. Republic Pictures took a bold step by rebranding Leonard Sly as Roy Rogers, drawing inspiration from the late humorist Will Rogers. This wasn't just a name change, it was the birth of a cowboy hero who would go on to embody everything audiences loved about the Wild West. Roy's big break came in 1938 with Under Western Stars. The film showcased his acting and musical talents and introduced a fresh, relatable cowboy persona that would quickly strike a chord with audiences across the country. From that moment, fans were captivated by Roy's charm, charisma, and authenticity. Letters poured in from all corners of America, praising his performances and begging for more. By the time Roy's career reached its peak, he had starred in 91 films, an impressive achievement that earned him the title King of the Cowboys. Unlike many of his contemporaries, Roy didn't just play a cowboy, he became one. His on-screen characters embodied honor, kindness, and courage, virtues that resonated deeply with fans. The media quickly caught on to Roy's rising star, with magazines and newspapers heralding him as Hollywood's new favorite. His fan clubs blossomed, with membership surpassing 2,000 both in the U.S. and overseas. At the height of his fame, Roy and his golden palomino, Trigger, became beloved icons, recognized even by those who had never watched a Western. But Roy's influence didn't stop with film. Television became another frontier for him to conquer. The Roy Rogers Show brought his adventures into millions of homes, solidifying his place as a family-friendly icon. Parents trusted him to set a good example for their children, and the public adored his down-to-earth personality, which remained grounded despite his immense fame. Even as time passed, Roy's legacy continued to evolve. In 1991, at the age of 79, he made a stunning return to music with the release of Tribute, an album of duets with contemporary country stars like Clint Black and Randy Travis. The album was both a tribute to his musical roots and a bridge to a new generation of fans. It was a critical and commercial success, proving that Roy Rogers was no relic of the past, but a timeless figure who still had the power to capture hearts. Throughout his illustrious career, Roy accumulated a long list of awards and honors, each a reflection of his talent and his deep impact on American culture. From Golden Boot Awards to honorary recognitions, Roy was celebrated not only for his acting, but also for his contributions to country music and Western culture. These awards were more than just accolades. They were proof of Roy's lasting influence in multiple areas of entertainment. Roy's contributions to country music were just as important as his film career. As a member of the Sons of the Pioneers, Roy helped shape the Western music genre, leaving a legacy that would inspire future generations. His musical talent, combined with his work in films, helped define the sound of the cowboy era and became an integral part of Western culture. While Roy Rogers' public persona as the all-American cowboy and beloved figure seemed unshakable, his personal life was far from simple. In fact, his journey was marked by devastating tragedies that tested his very spirit. Roy Rogers, adored by millions for his courage, honor, and optimism, also carried a burden of heartbreak few could imagine. In the midst of his skyrocketing fame, where he was the undisputed king of the Cowboys, Roy faced a sorrow that no parent should ever have to endure. His only biological child, a daughter named Robin, was born with Down syndrome. At just 2 years old, Robin tragically passed away from complications related to the condition, which at the time was known as Mongolism. The loss of their precious little girl shattered Roy and his wife, Dale Evans, in ways that words could never fully capture. But what followed was a series of heart-wrenching events that would test their strength, resilience, and faith in ways they could never have anticipated. In the years that followed Robin's death, Roy and Dale were dealt even more devastating blows. 2 of their adopted children, including their son Sandy, tragically passed away in separate accidents. The grief they experienced was unimaginable. It was as if the universe had conspired to take from them again and again. leaving them to navigate an ocean of sorrow that many would never come back from. The pain they endured could have broken many, but Roy and Dale found strength to rise above it. Instead of retreating into the shadows, crushed by the weight of their loss, Roy and Dale leaned on each other, and most importantly, they turned to their Christian faith. They didn't just go through the motions of grief, they channeled their pain into something greater. Their faith became a lifeline, something to hold on to when everything else seemed to fall apart. It wasn't just a crutch, it was a source of strength, a well from which they drew the courage to face each new day despite the ache that lingered in their hearts. What makes Roy and Dale's story truly remarkable isn't just the tragedies they endured, it's how they used those very tragedies to inspire others. They could have hidden their grief, kept it private, and tried to maintain the perfect image that the world expected of them. But they chose a different path. They opened their hearts and shared their pain with the world, showing that even the most iconic of figures, the heroes of our childhood, could suffer and still find a way to rise again. In books, interviews, and public speeches, Roy and Dale became powerful voices for resilience, hope, and healing. They didn't just talk about the power of faith, they lived it. Their words were raw, honest, and filled with a kind of authenticity that resonated deeply with audiences. They became a beacon of light for anyone going through their own personal struggles, showing them that it's possible to find peace, even after the darkest of times. What made Roy and Dale's message so impactful was that they weren't preaching from a place of distance or detachment. They weren't simply telling people to stay strong or move on. Instead, they shared their own journey of pain and healing, offering not just sympathy but real, practical wisdom on how to navigate the deepest wounds. Their message wasn't about avoiding grief. It was about embracing it, accepting the pain, and allowing it to transform you into someone stronger, someone who could still find joy and purpose even after immense loss. Through their personal tragedy, Roy and Dale didn't just survive, they thrived. They turned their grief into a tool for growth, not just for themselves, but for millions of others. Their story became a testament to the power of love, faith, and resilience. And in doing so, they helped countless people cope with their own losses, offering a lifeline to those who thought they might never be able to find hope again. In 1936, Roy Rogers found love with Arlene Wilkins, marking the beginning of a new chapter in his life. At the time, Roy's career was on the verge of taking off, but he had yet to become the iconic figure the world would come to know. His relationship with Arlene was a source of joy and stability, and their marriage was a symbol of Roy's hopes for the future. Tragically, just 10 years later, in 1946, Arlene passed away, leaving Roy devastated and suddenly thrust into the difficult role of a single father. The loss of his first wife was a profound blow, and it left Roy grappling with grief while still trying to find his footing in Hollywood. Yet just when he needed it most, fate brought Dale Evans into his life, a woman who would become not only his partner in show business, but his rock in life. Roy and Dale met when they starred together in films, and their chemistry on screen mirrored the deep connection they felt off-screen. Their shared passion for entertainment, paired with a deep personal bond, led them to marry in 1947. Their union created one of Hollywood's most beloved couples. They weren't just co-stars, they became a true team, both professionally and personally, and their love story resonated with fans all over the world. The couple's partnership, however, wasn't just a glamorous Hollywood tale. They faced profound personal tragedies, including the heartbreaking loss of children, both biological and adopted. The death of their children were moments of deep sorrow, and yet Roy and Dale found strength through their shared Christian faith. Their beliefs not only helped them cope with their grief, but also guided them to use their pain for a greater purpose. Together, Roy and Dale transformed their struggles into a powerful message of hope and resilience. They became champions of faith and positivity, using their platform to reach others who were suffering. They authored books, delivered powerful speeches, and became public figures dedicated to uplifting those in need. Their message was clear. No matter the pain, there is always hope, and with love and faith, it's possible to overcome even the deepest heartache. Roy Rogers was not just a star. He was a cultural icon whose influence reached far beyond the Hollywood hills. At the height of his fame, Roy became a true phenomenon, especially among the younger generation. His popularity was such that he had more than 2,000 fan clubs across the United States and even internationally. This widespread admiration was not a mere reflection of his acting talent. It was a result of his genuine connection with people, which made him beloved by fans from all walks of life. What set Roy apart from other celebrities of his time was his unshakable authenticity. In an era where many actors were known for playing drastically different roles, Roy always portrayed himself on screen. His character, Roy Rogers, was not just a persona, it was an extension of who he was in real life. Whether he was riding into a dusty town to save the day or serenading audiences with his music, Roy's presence never felt like an act. This authenticity fostered a unique bond between Roy and his fans. They didn't just admire him, they truly felt they knew him. His role was never just a performance, it was a genuine extension of his values. Honesty, integrity, kindness, and bravery, qualities that resonated deeply with his audience. The impact of Roy's authenticity went beyond his character alone. His deep connection with fans was also reinforced by his iconic sidekick, Trigger. While many actors were paired with horses in Western films, Trigger was more than just a co-star. He became a character in his own right. The world's smartest horse, Trigger could perform over 50 tricks, earning the admiration of millions. Fans didn't just send letters to Roy, they wrote to Trigger as well, as if the bond between man and horse transcended the screen. It was a rare and beautiful partnership, one that created a lasting legacy in the hearts of fans. The way Roy and Trigger interacted with their audience was something that set them apart from other Hollywood stars. The duo wasn't just about performing tricks or playing a role. They created an experience that made fans feel like they were part of the action. This emotional connection was so powerful that it extended beyond the films themselves. Roy Rogers and Trigger were not just characters in a show, they were friends and heroes to their audience, sharing the same values and dreams. Roy's influence wasn't limited to the confines of cinema. His fans viewed him as a figure they could look up to, a beacon of hope and inspiration. Roy's kindness, courage, and integrity were qualities that resonated deeply with people. Through his films, his music, and his public appearances, he inspired countless individuals to be better, to act with honor, and to stand up for what was right. Roy didn't just entertain, he made his audience feel empowered, like they could take on the world alongside him and Trigger. Whether through his portrayal of the king of the Cowboys or through his down-to-earth persona, Roy served as a reminder that heroes weren't just for the silver screen. They existed in everyday life. The media and press also played a crucial role in amplifying Roy's image. His authentic, relatable persona made him a favorite among journalists and photographers alike, who were eager to capture his wholesome charm. He was featured in countless magazine covers, newspaper articles, and radio shows. The constant coverage helped solidify his status as a true hero, one who was both a star and a symbol of what it meant to be a good person. What truly made Roy Rogers legendary, however, was the lasting impact he had on his fans. They didn't just watch his films, they lived them. Roy and Trigger became symbols of resilience, kindness, and perseverance. In an era where the world often seemed chaotic, Roy provided a constant, unwavering sense of hope. Fans would recount stories of how his films had inspired them during difficult times, or how the values he portrayed shaped their own lives. Roy's ability to make people feel like they were part of his world was one of the most significant aspects of his legacy. His fans didn't just admire him, they considered him a friend, a mentor, and an enduring influence on their lives. Even as the golden age of Roy Rogers' Hollywood career began to fade in the 1960s and early 1970s, his star never truly dimmed. While his public appearances became less frequent, primarily confined to special musical programs and award ceremonies, his legacy remained vibrant. Roy had become much more than just a Hollywood icon. He was an enduring symbol of Americana. His fans, who had followed him from his early days on screen, still held him in high regard, keeping his memory alive through fan clubs and personal admiration. Despite a quieter public presence, Roy's impact continued to resonate deeply with those who admired him. But Roy wasn't finished inspiring the world just yet. In 1991, at the age of 79, he made an incredible resurgence with the release of his album Tribute. This wasn't just another musical project. It was a celebration of his lifelong dedication to music and culture. Tribute featured collaborations with some of the biggest names in contemporary country music, including Clint Black, Randy Travis, and Emmylou Harris. These duets were not only a way for Roy to connect with the rising stars of his time, but also served as a bridge between the classic cowboy image he had perfected and the modern country sound that was taking over. The album blended nostalgia with fresh, modern tunes, proving that Roy's influence was as relevant as ever and his passion for music was undiminished. The album Tribute reintroduced Roy Rogers to a new generation, breathing new life into his career. It was a reminder of his legacy in American music and culture, showing that even in his later years, he could captivate audiences and create something new. The resurgence of his music further solidified his place in history, and it was clear that Roy's appeal was timeless. He wasn't just the king of the Cowboys on screen, he was a cherished figure in the hearts of millions, a man whose influence transcended film and television. Roy's final chapter was more than just a career swan song. It was a powerful statement about his lasting appeal. When he passed away in 1998 at the age of 86, he was not only remembered for his cinematic achievements, but also for his unwavering commitment to his family, faith, and the legions of fans who loved him. His life's journey was one of remarkable resilience, defined by his work on screen and his dedication to the values that made him a true American icon. Roy Rogers' life was marked by a series of highs and lows, encompassing incredible stardom, immense popularity, and personal tragedies that shaped his later years. Despite these challenges, his impact on Hollywood, country music, and American culture remains undeniable. Known as the King of the Cowboys on screen, Rogers' real-life story reflects a man who faced life's toughest challenges with resilience and grace. His enduring legacy as an entertainer and role model continues to resonate, a testament to his timeless appeal and the values he embodied both on and off screen.